I'm an artist, if the title didn't make that clear enough, but I think it's time to finally rip the band-aid off and talk about AI art. Now, I'm not some super veteran industry professional with insight on how AI is being used on the highest levels of, I don't know, Netflix's next animated film or something. I'm a relatively fresh artist for around 4.5 years now, and what I do know is how much work I've done to get here. 3 years of drawing constantly every day without fail just to get me standing here talking about this topic. But I also know what it's like to be a consumer who knows nothing about the actual process and just wants the next coolest thing, as that was me just 5 years ago. Now, as of recent, there's been a lot of controversy with the new release of GPT's new image generator thingy, which has sparked a straight up second AI art world war about how everyone should just commission artists instead of using AI, or how artists are becoming obsolete and should just put the fries in the bag already. And I'll be getting into all of that in a bit, but I kind of want to set the stage a little bit and explain how we even got here. So how does AI art work? To put it simply, it generates art from prompts you give it, and the way it does this is by taking a massive input of training data and using an algorithm or whatever AI stuff it does to spit out an amalgamation of an image that generally follows the directions that you give it. A very simplified version, but that's pretty much how it works. Now, I think the first thing that comes to mind is, how does AI get its training data? While it could get its training data from only, copyright-free images and people who consent to it, and that would be all fine and dandy, but no. I, the AI tech bro, want to generate the best looking AI digital girlfriend possible, and we can't do that with the measly data we get from people who consent to it. So of course, the only logical conclusion is to steal the data set from other artists' works to create and even sell images that are basically plagiarized from legitimate artists. And this is how the first AI art world war began last year. Wait. No, that was 2 years ago. Holy shit. There were a few copyright laws passed that I believe were pretty good, but I'm not here to get into the specifics. In the end, there was nothing we could do to entirely stop them. But at the same time, most AI images were so samey that we could mostly tell from a glance that they were AI slop anyways. So the AI tech bros and the artists went on their merry ways, and now we're in 2025. AI is actually getting kind of decent, and even sites like Pinterest, where most artists get their references from, are just infested with AI slop now. And that brings us to today. Well, by the time this is posted, about a week and a half ago, where the new AI patch just dropped, and we now got GPT 4.0 image generation making Xi Jinping in Studio Ghibli's art style. And while quite objectively funny, at the same time, this has been pretty much a reality check to people that kind of forgot about the looming threat of AI overlords taking over our jobs, or well, if we count forgetting as not having AI advertisements shoved down our throats for a whole hour, or maybe even survived a day. Lucky you. So that has led to another AI art World War II. Trademark. And with all this turmoil happening, I thought I would give my opinion as the most humble, charismatic, smartest, and downright attractive artist on the planet. Now, on the side of AI bros, here's what I'm hearing. Statements like, why should I pay an artist and have to wait weeks for a piece of work if it's something that an AI can make in seconds and for free? Or things like the general consumer doesn't care about the way something is made, they only care about the final product and whether or not that's good. Or God forbid, there's these clowns calling themselves artists because they can write up a weird sentence that an AI can gobble up and spit out a decent looking amalgamation from. And look, to some of these points I kind of get it. There is a bit of value when it comes to needing to have an image of something and then immediately getting that image for free. From a purely consumer standpoint, without any art input, you can't not see that value proposition. But what I do have to ask you tech bros is, when literally every image on the internet becomes AI like you want it to be, what's going to be the value in any of it? For example, you see a new promotional piece of AI art for a new game company in the year 2030. And that art is so good it looks like a professional painter made it, but it's AI. So answer me, who's actually going to care about this product? Not the artwork itself, but who's going to care about the game when the only thing to promote it is some AI slop work that was made in 2 seconds that any other company or even individual for that matter can make in seconds? What does that say about the actual quality of said game if they can't even bother to source a real person to promote it? Who's even going to be playing all of these games? I mean, I know all of us have a giant Steam backlog of games made by humans that we're not playing. Think about all the games that are going to be there when the AI gets added to the equation. We're in the age of the internet where we can do or play anything. We need quality, not quantity, and all AI gives us is copious amounts of quantity crap. Every single piece that is prompted out by another person is another piece that diminishes the value of all the other AI artworks, because there's literally no effort in creating it, and everybody with a working prefrontal cortex knows this. Here's another argument that I hear about all the time when it comes to this, the analogy of going from horses to cars, where artists are just halting the improvement of this valuable tool that will definitely improve humanity once everything is automated. Well, let me ask you this obvious question. Is art something that even needs to be automated? People evolved from wagons to cars because we needed a better way to transport things. Do we need a better way to be creative? Quick answer, if you're the average person, no. And if you're saying yes, that's like trying out basketball for the first time, and then when you can't hit a three-pointer, you get mad at the world and saying that the whole sport needs to be automated. Literally just learn it, skill issue. Literally the only people that benefit from this are billionaire CEOs that want to shave off hardworking people to increase their bottom line and deliver a shittier, soulless, and cheaper product to the average people that are buying it. Yes, you, the person I'm theoretically arguing with. Same argument with photos and portrait painting. Yes, photos have made it way easier to capture real life and have made people who painted life relatively not as important. But again, we're talking about wanting to get rid of the act of creating something new by ourselves. This isn't grunt work that people don't want to do but are forced to out of the necessity of life. This is literally one of the core things that make us human, the ability to just create things. And I don't even want to get started on the people talking about the jump from traditional art to digital art and then trying to compare that to AI art somehow. Like, if you don't know the difference between drawing using a blank canvas on a drawing software and asking a robot to create an entire illustration just from typing a sentence, honestly, just click off the video, man. You're too far cooked. I was gonna move on. I almost forgot about the people calling themselves artists because they made a few illustrations using AI. Hey buddy, just from the script of this singular video alone, I could have written hundreds if not thousands of AI prompts to make images. No. Scratch that. I could have made hundreds of AI illustrations, music videos, hell, even made a few relationships with a couple AIs. So if you guys are artists, then I'm an artist, musician, author, and professional game developer that's been divorced 7 times and am currently married to Ganyu from the hit game Genshin Impact. Now on the side of the real artists, we want everyone to literally just have our work not be stolen and automated by a machine that will pump out soulless copies of our previous works, as well as just have people appreciate our work a little more in general. Now, I know that sounds a little biased because it is, but let's just work from the ground up here. In general, art as a whole, I would say, has been rather unappreciated. The first thing that comes to mind if you so much as mention of being an artist is how broke you apparently and arguably kind of are. I mean, people even coin the term starving artists and constantly tell us how we should go and get a quote-unquote real job. The most obvious way to see this vast contrast is from the music to art industry, with successful music artists getting hand over fist way better pay and fame and are able to copyright strike anything and anyone using their music and without question get it taken down. Meanwhile, we have the people working at Mappa to bring us things like Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 that are basically getting paid minimum wage and people ripping and posting our life's works with nothing we can virtually do to stop it. And for so long, we've just taken it. We've rolled with the punches and accepted the relatively shitty treatment because at the very least, we still get to do what we love without, for the most part, not unironically living on the streets. But now this AI art actually has the potential to put us on the streets, or so it seems, so this has brought us to a breaking point. I don't think I have to argue how it's bad to take another person's entire life work without their permission and then feed it to a machine that's just going to pump out random crap that they didn't consent to. I hate to say this again, but this is literally a skill issue. If you want something done in a certain style, how about you learn that style and try to apply it rather than stealing it like it's nothing and then literally devaluing that style to nothing. I'm not asking anyone to praise us for our work or anything like that, but pay us a normal amount for the work that we put into creating things for you, or at the very least, don't just yoink the exact one-for-one thing without our consent to an algorithm that can pump out more pieces that will overall devalue our original works. But let's get to the commissions topic. We artists want everyone to legitimately pay for our works because, well, we worked for it. And I completely agree. I know it's crazy to pay someone for their work in 2025. But then I get back into the consumer mindset. Why pay for something that we can get for faster and for free? And in a way, I get it. If you want something done, you want it done in the cheapest and fastest way possible. And if I didn't know any better, I would think it's a bit unreasonable for artists to simply expect everyone to appreciate the soul and process that it takes to make what we make. Because only we, the artists in other creative fields like music, writing, acting, and in a way even content creation, are the only ones that can really understand what it takes to do something like this. While everyone else is kind of just stuck with this weird pseudo understanding based on what real artists are just telling them. And honestly, I don't have a solution to this. How do you convince the unconvinced population that art is something that needs to be valued more? I mean, I don't know. So where does this leave us? Where do I think we're heading to in the future? As much as I hate to admit it and wish it weren't true, I think that the age of widespread fan art and commission work is slowly dying out. AI art is going to get to the point where it is so good at applying a stolen art style to a reference in whatever way people want that the population that doesn't care about how it was made in the first place is just going to use that instead of commissioning people. However, I still believe there will be people that appreciate the process, this being proven by how unpopular AI is even to this day. I mean, look at all the other YouTube video essays on how people are tired of AI and how popular they are. Artists or art adjacent people, or even a decent chunk of the population, will see AI art for what it actually is, just a cheap imitation of what real people work hard to achieve. So for that reason, I don't believe commissions or fan art is going to completely die. It's just going to lose the portion of the population, which, let's be real, you wouldn't want commissioning you anyways. What I do think artists right now should start doing, if they aren't already, is to simply just not buy or sell into anything that is AI art related. Obviously, the only reason investors are spending so much money on the next GPT image in Shitinator 9000 is because they believe that once it's good enough, people will start buying that crap. And so give them the reality check they need and let their wallets bleed out as they lose billions training the next AI model that will net them $0 back. This, as well as starting to get even more creative, because while AI is really good at mashing things together, it's really shit at making something actually new. So jobs like concept artists or designers are most likely going to be the most resistant to AI, in my humble opinion. Literally, my previous video is one of me showing off my first original character. Now, is the design the most original thing ever? Of course not. Everyone has seen angel wings with white hair done at some point, but it's the purpose that matters here. The purpose of the pair of the black wings, her earring, her clothes. When AI creates things, there's no purpose behind it. It's just giving you the product that you want. And I think that's the key takeaway for the future. Do you think AI could have come up with something like Arcane, Into the Spider-Verse, Chainsaw Man? Sure, AI is going to become the tool that gives the people what they want, but real artists are going to give the people the things that they didn't know they wanted. Or, you know, we could all just go traditional. So how do I feel about this whole state of the AI apocalypse? Because obviously you're still watching this video, so my feelings are the only ones that actually matter here. Now, I'm sure it's pretty obvious from my terrible voice and downright horrendous pronunciations that I'm a good old gencier. And I think I speak on behalf of all of us when I say, what the is going on? I mean, I just started becoming good enough to do something with my life, and then life just doos me right back. Honestly, I feel like I'm getting spawn camped with how many shitty situations have lined up for me right when I become an adult. AI is taking over my dream profession, the economy is in shambles for anyone that doesn't have a full pension fund, 401k, $10 million invested into Elon Musk's eyebrows, and it's only getting worse from here. And even if I did want a job outside of illustration, LinkedIn is waiting right there to fuck me over again. And don't even get me started on the dating scene or relationships in general. At this point, I'm slated to just become a grandmaster, sage, wizard, overlord by the time I reach the age of 40. With everybody just saying to go to college and just get a job or something, as if the best chance I realistically have at this point isn't to just move to Japan where the rent is way cheaper and live off of my measly YouTube ad revenue and crypto rug pull scams to sustain my crippling future online gambling addiction and current gacha game addiction. And yes, they're different, let me cope. I know this video is probably going to make quite a few people mad because it's illegal on the internet to make an effort to understand both sides, and coupling that with this being my first kind of real video essay video, I'm not the most eloquent of writers or speakers. Yeah, though I will say I'm pretty sure that literally me just researching, typing out, and recording this script has brought me so much more on the side of artists here. Like, I mean, I already kind of was, but the first iteration of the script, I did have a lot more points on the AI tech bro side, but then I did more research and realized just how stupid they all seemed, and the more I read them over, the more I was like seriously, what's the practical use for this thing other than companies to spend less money and make worse products? Like, I don't even know what the average person that isn't chronicling online would even do in an art generator. I mean, who's the last person that was like, oh, I want to generate this random piece of art for no reason in particular? The only real use case for this thing is for companies and developers that are too lazy to outsource stuff to artists, which honestly, in the end, is going to bite them in the butt once AI art starts running out of input and just starts making the same stuff over and over again. But I'll just end it on this. I don't want some people to get caught up in the mob and think that the average tech bro is going to suddenly change their ideals and appreciate the process once AI gets to the point where it is virtually indistinguishable from real art. I don't want artists out there that survive solely off of commissions and fan art to get blindsided when their sales suddenly take a drop in, I don't know, how long do you think AI is going to take to get that good? Like 3 to 4 years now, and now they have to deal with the consequences of not preparing today. So hate me if you want. I hope that beyond all the doom and gloom of my crash out from 2 minutes ago, we realize that there's still time to adapt and change our strategies to, I guess, not kill AI, because it's probably not going to happen, but at this point, just not get destroyed by it.